Hello, everyone. Welcome to Retrothon 2023. My name is Neczin. I'm Brazilian, speedrunner, and the former winner of the Brazilian tournament of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories of 2022. And I'm bringing to you guys Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories randomizer, 5 cards drop, and so that it is. Let's go. I have a commentator here, my friend Vash, and he will take some informations and bring the best experience of this game to you. So that is Vash. Good luck on the comments, and you will count. So let's go.
Hello everyone, hi Nek, thanks for inviting me to comment this lovely run of Randomizer. It's 5 cards. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories is truly a gem from infancy, from childhood, and I believe most of us have suffered through this game. And yeah, we're gonna bring it to you, a randomizer version. The game has been scrambled by a program. I'll explain. I will explain everything. I'll just start the count now. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go.
Good luck, Nek, on the run. So basically, as mentioned by Nek, there was a tournament for Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories 15 card. 15 card is a mod that makes so that each time you win a duel, instead of gaining 1 card, you gain 15 cards. Makes the game more dynamic. Not easy by any chance. The game is still tough as nails, but Nek has won this tournament. It was really great. It did give a boost to the Brazilian community. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a really strong following here, and just yesterday, season 3 for the tournament, the tournament for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories 15 card just closed as well. So it's just in time. We're gonna have this showcase here. It's perfect timing. And basically, the game has been scrambled by a program, and it has some limiters, as like his initial deck can't go above 1850 attack points. And by the way, shoutouts to Cretino, which is a Brazilian programmer who did this scrambler program that we are using to make the ISOs. So basically, to anyone who is not familiar with Forbidden Memories, just knows Yu-Gi-Oh! From the TV show or for the TCG, basically, its rules is all messed up. You don't need. You can make fusions just by lifting cards up. You don't need to tribute stuff to summon powerful monsters. You can just set 1 card per turn. So yeah. And also the defense points. I think it's limited to 2k something from his initial deck. So basically, what Neczin will be doing here, he's just gonna try to find the cards. The drop list for the enemies, it's randomized. So instead of the weaker enemies, the starter enemies having not so powerful drops, he has to keep checking. He's gonna do the duels, specific ranks, and such, to try and find good drop spots, basically. So yeah, and initially his deck is not going to be so great, despite the fact that he started with a trap, a widespread ruin. It's the most powerful trap in this game. It would be really how can I say this? It would be really good if it was a normal run, because traps are a really scarce resource. But removal by itself is really powerful in this game. And that was Simon Moran. He's basically the guy you can't even lose, basically. His cards are so lame and such. So Neck has a tracker, as you guys can see. Let's see the drops. He got some equips. Mystical Moon is good for beasts. Some good filler, I think. Oh, by the way, it's 5 card. He's not gonna gain much. I forgot to tell you guys about that. Or at least emphasize that. So, wait, he has Bright Castle. Bright Castle is a really good equip. Bright Castle is a general use equipment. It can go in any monster whatsoever. So that's gonna help him deal with some tougher enemies in the future. And it's gonna make it easier for him to achieve the BCD rank. So let's talk about ranks in this game. I think it's something really important, specifically for the randomizer. This game, it has a way to calculate ranks. You have ranks, alright? Is the Resurrect card banned as well? I think in the TCG, right? But anyway, during the game, during the match, you're gonna perform some actions like fusioning, setting cards face down, face up, activating trap cards, effective attacks and such. Number of turns. There are all these metrics. There are all these stats that's that pertains to a duel, and based on these stats, you can achieve a certain rank, right? And there are 3 pools. I would say 3 pools specifically that cards are organized, because you have from ranks. It ranges from S, from the letter S to D. And there's a qualifier, like it was a POW or it was a tag. So there are those 2 types, and there's the letters. But in the end, it all boils down to 3 groups, which is SA POW, SA Tech, and BCD Tech or BCD POW. Those are the 3 principal groups from which the cards are grouped. The drop list from the enemies. So basically, for this beginning part of the run, he's gonna majorly attempt BCDs. Doesn't matter if it's POW or Tech, but he's gonna go for BCD POWs, which is the fastest way to, let's say, it's not the fastest way to finish a duel, but with equipments and some good things he has on his deck already, he can do it just fine. So basically, to achieve a BCD rank, the player has to at least use a magic, or use an equipment, or perform 5 fusions and have less than 27 cards remaining at the end of the duel. Less than 28, by the way. 27 less. And with this, he's gonna... Okay, I'm gonna BCD all these guys. And he's gonna take notes. He's gonna be... it's like investigative work. He's gonna... Okay, this guy, I'm gonna BCD him now. Let's see what he drops. Okay, I'm gonna repeat this duel. Try again, see if it has a good drop. He's gonna, just keep tabs on everything. Every duel he keeps performing, he keeps winning. He's gonna, for starters, doing BCDs. As his decks gets powerful, more stronger, he will be able to perform SA POWs more quickly. SA POWs is basically the antithesis to BCD. You don't wanna be under 28 cards. You don't wanna, if you are under 28 cards, you don't wanna do 5 fusions. You don't wanna use equipments. You don't wanna use trap activations and such. And yeah, Neczin is having a little problem with the window right there. No biggie. Sun is gonna be a problem in the future for this game.
A burger.
He got a burger. Nice. Well, there's this thing in the main game when we are running 15 cards. There are there you are, the Hungry Burger. Basically, Hungry Burger is a card that is achieved via ritual, and there is a meme category in which the runner has to farm the components for the burger, the monsters used in the ritual, and the ritual card itself. And the ritual card itself is dropped in the Pegasus A tag, which is one of the main strategies for the 15 card run. And because why? Because Pegasus on attack drops Megamorph, which is the most powerful card in this game, some would say. And one of the drops from the Pegasus attack is the ritual for the burger. But anyways, for now, it's gonna be pretty swell for Nek. He's not gonna have any major problems. The enemies from the beginning of the game are really, you know, weak. They don't offer many challenges, and he's gonna, you know, look for. He's gonna do most of the duels that exist in the game. So he's going through Egypt 1. He's gonna duel Teana, Jono, Villager 1, Villager 2, Villager 3. You know, just to make his deck beefier. Because remember, it only drops 5 cards. What's the best card in the game? Well, talking plainly, the strongest card the player can have in the normal game is the Meteor Black Dragon. It's 3k 500 attack points. And you can farm it on Metal Mage, you can farm it on Jono 2nd. And you can farm it on Haishin as well, but that's not really practical. Dark Elf, it's a nice 2k card, 2k attack points card. With Mercury, it can be useful in the future if, you know, some things line up. So, the strongest card, plainly talking, without fusions, anything considering equipment and such, is the Meteor Black Dragon, 3k 500. But there's also, I don't know, in the randomizer, I don't think in the randomizer it is really that useful, but could be. There's a fusion called the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon. It's when you fuse a dragon that has over 1600 attack points with a thunder, it becomes a twin-headed thunder dragon. It has 2800 attack points, and the good thing about it is it's easy to make, and it accepts a good assortment of equipments. It can be equipped with Beast Fangs, can be equipped with Horn of Light, Dragon Treasure. So in the normal run, the THDD is the bread and butter, the main tool that the runner has at his disposal until he, he can farm some really good cards. I hope the homie Summon School shows up. Yeah, he's a fan favorite, but he's not really that strong. But you can use it for a fusion. It's the Black Skull Dragon, the BSD. If you fuse a Summoned Skull plus a Red Eyes Black Dragon, you get the BSD, which has 3k 200 attack points. So, about cards that are strong in this sense, well, removals are quite good. Raigeki, Crush card, the aforementioned Widespread Ruin, which I'm gonna be calling W Asa for short. It's the one trap card with explosion that Nek got in the beginning, and he did a yes found. That's nice. I mean, he I don't know how much a buying cards in the randomizer is gonna be a factor. I don't think that it's gonna be much moment for hydration. Drink water, guys. It's really important. But yeah, basically this game, you need to know a lot about fusions. The THDD is the bread and butter, but until you have the THD consistently in your deck, when you farm Thunders and Dragons to have a good assortment, so you can, always draw them first turn. Oh,
Jono lost again. It's so bad.
Complicated. So, yeah, Jono is tough. Sometimes he's a motivated guy. He's trying his best, but he's not really that good. Jono 2nd or Jono 1. Anyway, what was I saying about powerful cards? Right, equipments are really good. Bright Castle is one of the best equipment because it's general use. You don't have to think about the mode you're going to equip. Bright Castle can be equipped in any monster. Megamorph, same principle, but Megamorph is like Bright Castle on steroids because it's 1k points that it above the monster, both in attack and the attack points are the really important thing around here. So, and well, let's say those are basically the most powerful cards, but there are some cards we can use along the way and in the right conditions that can be useful. Skull Knight is a card that is buffed by the Yummy field. It's gonna be useful in the final part of the game. It has good attack power, buffed by Yummy. It has 2 Star Guardians that are really useful in the late game. It's Mercury and Neptune. Basically, the Skull Knight can destroy a Meteor Black Dragon with 1 buff. He just needs 1 buff. May it be by field, may it be by equipments. Just one equip on the Skull Knight and the right Star Guardian, and you form a Meteor Black Dragon. That's gonna be one of the major roadblocks in the future from the final part of the game. Dark Magician as well. You can drop it somewhere along the way. It's not half bad. It has Mercury as well, and you know I have to explain this part because I'm talking about Star Guardians and Signs and Mercury and Neptune and what the hell are those kinds of things. So basically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a rock, paper, scissors mechanic, but a little bit, worked out. It's basically 2 rock, paper, scissors in its mechanics. So you have the star signs, right? Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars, the name of the planets as well. Basically, almost all planets, and it's a basic, Pokemon-like type. Type A has advantage against Type B, and such and such. So, what is important for us is that Mercury beats Sun, and there are some really annoying cards that are in Sun. Basically, Seto. I don't know if you guys know, but Seto Kaiba, he is a guy that really likes dragons, right? And he has 1 dragon that is really iconic. It's the Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's 3k points of attack, 3,000 points of attack points, and well, if you guys recall, in the anime he can do a really powerful fusion with three blue eyes. That is the ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Something along this way. It's the name of the card. So in this game, yeah, there is the ultimate exists. Ooh, a THDD. Nice. Really good, really good. I was a little bit distracted. So yeah, the strongest card in the game is the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It's 4,500 attack points. It's really devastating. If you don't have any sort of power-ups or removal, you're just screwed. You're not gonna go anywhere. You're just basically going to die. It's the first card on the tracker because it's the most powerful card in the game. And then the randomizer, you can, if you look, if you investigate, if you keep dueling and trying to find the farm spots, you can get those really powerful cards. But in the normal game, you can't. The most powerful card you can get in the... What was that? I just saw a white. Man, what the hell is that? What was the drop, man? I just saw a white. Let's take a look. Sorry. It's the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. He just found the farm spot for the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. He has one. So smooth things out. In the randomizer, as I was saying, you can drop these really powerful cards that you can't find in the normal game. So it was Sato. It was Sato indeed that dropped the ultimate. Yeah, that's just marathon luck, I would say, right? Marathon blesses. So yeah, talking about the devil, the ultimate, it has, as I said, 4,500 attack points, and it's the most powerful card in the game. And it takes some really ingenuity to beat him during the final segments of the game. The game is just demonstrating that it can drop undroppable cards. Guys, just to clarify, in the randomizer, the cards that are limited, that are not droppable, they become droppable because the scrambler messed with the drop list of the enemies. What? The Hungry Burger couldn't seal the deal. The Lagini got there and filled up his tummy, I would say. He's not hungry, but yeah. Let's. By the way, just for clarification alone, right? There are some cards in the original game and in the 15 card mod, because the 15 card mod is just the original game with 15 drops each duel. So there are some cards that are not droppable because the original version of the game, the Japanese version of the game, it had an integration with a gadget, I would say. It's the Pocket Station. The Pocket Station was something that was released in Japan, and Konami wanted to use it in the Yu-Gi-Oh game. So basically, they have limited some cards to be accessed only with the Pocket Station. So I believe the Pug, the Gate Guardian, and such. Some cards. I don't know much about this part.
BSD, Cosmo Queen.
BSD, Cosmo Queen. Thanks, Zach. Basically, most of the cards that are achieved via Retro, you could get it with Pocket Station. If you guys want to know more about it, just give it a Google. It's a really fascinating device. But outside of Japan, it's not something. It ain't something that picked up. It's more like if I'm not wrong, the Pocket Station is something similar to the Dreamcast video. You could save some information, have some things on screen. I don't know. I didn't research much about the Pocket Station, but I think it's similar to the video from the Dreamcast. Which was that thing that you plug into the controller, and you could have, you could take it off, play some games on it as well. Anyways. So yeah, that sets a good path for Neck, because he can farm. That's a really sweet drop spot. That's a really sweet drop farm spot, by the way. Twin-headed is, besides not being, even though it's not the most powerful card in the game, as we said, it's really useful. With one equip, the Twin-headed can beat Black Skull Dragon. With two equips, it can beat Meteor Black Dragon and Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, which are both 3,500 attack points. And with the right configuration, it could beat the ultimate, but it takes a lot of resources. And if you don't have those resources, it's tough. But as we said, the THDD is gonna be a good card for most part of the run. From all the duelists you're gonna face until the end, you can, with the THDD, resolve the duel just with a little bit of thinking and equipment and such. By the way, as people said in the chat, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime doesn't follow the rules, and Forbidden Memories as well. That's why it has this really unique and really simple system in which you can fuse whatever you like. You can discard your whole hand to cycle through your deck more quickly. Just set one card per turn. But it has the basics, right? You can set face down. You can set in defense mode and such. And it has the guardian star system, as you said. Like it's just a rock paper scissors thing to make it a little bit more dynamic and create some situations where you wouldn't be able to solve. You'll be able to solve. So basically here it's Haishin one, right? Judging by the field. So basically this is a duel that he has to lose. The game really wants you to just lose because it has a plot. May not seem like it, but this game has a plot, and and you have to lose here. It's mandatory. So Vash, what happens if you just win? If Neck just draws ultimate dragon now and sets in the field and destroy everything turned ablaze. He could just do that, right? Yeah, he could, but he would win. And Haitian, just like the crybaby he is, he would just like, hey, face me again. I'm not gonna accept this defeat. And that makes the game, you win again, and he's gonna just cry again and duel again, and it's an infinite cycle. So you have to lose. You have to lose. And this is Egypt 1. We call it Egypt 1. It's a part of the game, the introduction. You get to know the characters. If you don't know the characters, you control the pharaoh, which is Atem, but we don't know that yet. But the pharaoh is called whatever you like in this game. People just call it A because it's quickly in the speedrun. So yeah, the pharaoh A. And basically Haishin, which is this kind of high priest, he's mad. He just wants power no matter what. The basics of anime video game plot. He's mad and he wants power, be it with darkness or not. So be it the darkest powers or not. So he plans this coup d'etat because you control the pharaoh. The pharaoh is the ruling guy, right? So he goes and discusses with his other friends, his other mages, his other priests. And okay, let's do a coup d'etat in the pharaoh and banish him forever. But what they didn't expect was that the pharaoh, the soul of the pharaoh, would be enclosed in the Millennium Puzzle. And now we're in the future, because our soul was in the Millennium Puzzle. Yugimoto found the Millennium Puzzle, and now we are here. And we are going into a quest. There's a tournament going. There's this world tournament going on. It's how we call this segment of the game. It's the world tournament. And now you're gonna face Rex, which is one of the most beloved characters, but not. He's a guy that likes, dinosaurs. He's just a regular kid on the block that likes dinosaurs and such. But he's really easy, but if you're not careful, if you lose control of the board, he can fuse a THPD, but, well, what can you do against a Blue Eyes Ultimate? But let me say this. There's this really interesting thing you can do when you have powerful cards. It's not really common in the run, but sometimes it happens, and you can do this. If you have a really powerful card early on, such as in the normal run, it would be the Meteor Black Dragon, right? If you have a really powerful card and you draw it on the first turn, you set it face down, because the AI, it has a list of things it can do and a probability attributed to each of these actions. And when you place a card face down, the enemy doesn't know what the card is. So it's gonna just throw a dice and decide what to do based on, on its parameters. Some enemies are more aggressive, some enemies are not really that aggressive. Some enemies likes to use magic more, some enemies just likes to place defensive cards a little bit more. So when you have a powerful card, you set it face down, and it has a chance that the enemy will attack the card that is face down. Since it's a really powerful card, the enemy is gonna lose. And the difference between the attacks of the monsters is gonna be converted into damage to the life points. So this is a more of a speed strat that can be used sometimes during the run in the right conditions. Lol, I know why games do it, but I always wait for a game that just runs with it. Yeah, it has to. It has to. How could I say this? We need some more aware developers, right? Some more aware game devs that makes these sorts of joke and run with it. Just just to reward some of the players that are really I don't know, brave or dumb to try to win a unwinnable fight. Chrono Trigger has something like that, right? If you beat Lavos at the moment where Chrono is meant to die, you get to the secret ending of the game. There's something like that, right? Man, this Blue Eyes Ultimate is not shy at all. He's showing up each time. So unfortunately, the enemy hasn't attacked, so it's gonna be a little bit. Oh, he set a back row. So enemies sometimes can set back rolls. Back roll is any magic or trap card set on the the furthest row away. And this behavior usually happens when you don't have the field dominated. What do I mean by this? When you have a card face up, the enemy knows what monster is that, right? It means you're being aggressive. So if you have a card face up, the enemy understands that he's losing. He's gonna just place any monster whatsoever to defend his life points. When you place a card face down, or when you set a magic or a trap card, you don't have the board dominated. So the enemy understands, well, he's not menacing me. He's not a threat. So I can do whatever I want. I don't need to set a monster to defend my life points. So sometimes they use magics, they play trap cards, just go with the usual, setting a monster. So in the later parts of the run, it's going to be important, this sort of understanding of how the AI works. Right now, it's not really a problem because, the enemies are weak. The enemies don't have strong cards, they don't have strong fusions, so it's not really a problem to not dominate the board. But as we go further along in the run, some enemies will have strong removals. Some enemies will have dispels and such. So there are some interactions regarding the AI that the runner has to be aware of, or else he can get Raigek'd in the face, and that is really hurtful sometimes. There are some quirks that is meant to be the runner has to know about when learning the run of this game. But for now, everything is just going fine. Some really good cards for the World Tournament. Basically, during the World Tournament, we have that spike, that difficult spike that I guess most of you, if you Skull Knight, as I mentioned this card earlier, Skull Knight is really great. Skull Knight is really great. So as I was saying, if you didn't own a memory card at the time, if you didn't own a memory card at the time, this game you probably never got past this segment, World Tournament. You probably never got past it if you didn't own a memory card back at the time, or if you weren't crazy enough to leave your PS1 on all night while you were sleeping and pick it up again in the morning. So here is where the difficulty spikes a little bit. Egypt 1, duels are really easy. The really real threat was Seto 1. We're gonna refer to Seto 1 or Haishin 1 because there are some duels that repeat itself. There are some duelists, I mean, that you face them more than once, but they have different cards. They have different decks. So they are stronger, they are different, so we use that to differentiate. It's how the game differentiates as well. When you go to the free duel, you can repeat your duels that you've already unlocked in the main game, and there's Seto 1, Seto 2nd, Seto 3rd, there's Haishin 1, Haishin 2nd, there it is, Skull Knight. There's Jono 1, Jono 2nd. Jono 2nd is really polemic, but we will get into that when he shows his face. You beat the last boss in the intro, well, you win the game. Yeah, it's how Chrono Trigger dealt with it. I mean, it was a secret ending, it made no sense whatsoever, but if you beat Lavos during that apocalyptic moment when Chrono was meant to die, because in Chrono Trigger there is a fight where Chrono is meant to die, but if you are just, crazy enough and grind your way and try your best, you can beat Lavos, and you are greeted with the secret ending of the game. One of the, you go to the end of the time, you see all the developers and the messages and such, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, so this is a really easy duel. This guy, Shadi, he's free. He doesn't have any really powerful cards, despite being in the World Tournament. It's just a breather, It's just a moment for you to, after having some really tough duels, because Bandit Keith he can be really annoying if you don't have the right cards, or if you're just unlucky, because he can. The strongest card Keith has is a Zoa, 2k 600 attack points. It's really a powerful card for the beginning of the game. If you don't know how to make THDD, or if you don't draw it at all, you can be in trouble. And to make matters worse, if you allow Bandit Keith to dominate the board, if he has more than one monster and such, etc., he can use Metal Morph on the Zoa, and it becomes a Metal Zoa with 3000 attack points. And even a THDD, the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, I'm gonna call it THDD for short, can't beat it. So here is Bakura. Bakura, remember when I said that enemies can have different AI, and some enemies are more aggressive, some enemies are more defensive? Well, Bakura is the first instance of a defensive duelist. Because he doesn't have really powerful cards. Like, his strongest card is a Dark Elf with 2000 attack points. So, he has no chance, he believes, right? He's not really that confident in himself. So he sets a lot of defensive cards. He just set a 2000 defense points Mystical Elf, but he can be really annoying because he has Millennium Shield and Labyrinth Wall, which are cards that have 3000 defense points. So a THDD by itself can't defeat a Lab Wall or a Millennium Shield, and there's something to make to even add salt to the wound, the Millennium Shield in the Labyrinth Wall, they have the Uranus star sign, and the THD is Pluto by default. So if you're not careful enough, if you make a twin-headed and set it on Pluto, you're gonna have a disadvantage. You're gonna be at odds with the Millennium Shield, the Labyrinth Wall. They are gonna gain 500 points in defense and in attack both. Invigoration, that's nice. It's one of the equipments that Fortress Whale. I've never seen this card in my life, by the way. Great Bill, he's a good fella. There are some cards that we like to meme then because they are odd, they are bizarre, like the Hungry Burger. There's the Drooling Lizard as well. The Yu-Gi-Oh community, the Forbidden Memories community has its own memes in regards to cards, because this game, it's been pretty much figured out. This game has been, reverse engineered to the core. So, it's fantastic the effort this community has achieved to understand how it works. And basically we know the drop rate of everything, the probabilities, the odds. We know the odds of, what are the odds of dropping a Megamorph on an ATAC? We know that. What are the odds of dropping a Toon Alligator, on the SA Power on Meadow Mage? We know that. And there are some cards that are really useless, but they have a really low percentage of being dropped. And whenever during the run we drop these cards, we start giggling. We start, oh no, look at this. It's such a rare drop. Look at it. It's Toon Alligator with 600 attack points. Because he is a cute anime like alligator. People like him for some reason. There are some memes that basically it's all regarding the odds of dropping cards. During the second part of the game, as I said, there's Meadow Mage. Meadow Mage, for people that are familiar with this game, they probably Meadow Mage is the guy that has been most dueled all time. People just fight him a lot in the free duel because Meadow Mage can drop Meteor Black Dragon. So yeah, and people caught wind of that really quickly. A lot of the people that, even though they are not in the speedrunning community for FM, they just know. Some people know how to do A-tags, S-tags. Some people know some really good farm spots because of just they finding it out when they were kids, when they were children, and these kinds of networks that people had. How can I say that? When people got into talking with each other, spreading the news they found and such. So Meadow Mage is really well known for his good cards that he drops. And Meteor Black Dragon has the same percentage to drop as well as a card called Trend, which is useless. It has 1000. Oh no. The swords is gonna be a little bit, it's not a big problem, but it's gonna be slow. I have to break my line of my train of thought. I was going back there to explain this. Basically, sorry, I need to mute really quick.
No problem, Vash. Sort of Revealing Light, it's really annoying. Just takes some minutes, some seconds of my run, but the game is okay. I controlled the field, but discarding PB attempts, the normal speedrun, it's really annoying.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, basically what Nex said, the swords of revealing light, is a annoying card, and it showcases a good principle that I was talking about earlier. When you don't have the board dominated, when you don't have control of the board, the enemy can use magics, and some enemies have some really good magic cards. For instance, the swords. It, you know, in a normal situation, it isn't really that bad, right? Playing casually. But when you're speedrunning the game, it really makes it go really slow. 3 turns is a huge amount of time. It's a big time loss. And we can, this game has really, it has a really high variance in regards to the run itself. You can't really be consistent all the time because you depend on luck to draw the cards and the enemy being with the right cards or not. So, and this is a really important concept. I think it's good to explain it right now, which is the magic lock. I've been talking about you have to dominate the board, you have to, have control of the board. So what exactly does this mean and what it entails? Basically, as I said previously, when you have a card face up, the enemy knows the card, can check the attributes and decide, okay, I'm losing. I need to defend my life points. Okay, no, this card, I can beat it. I'm just gonna set something that beats it. Right? Basically AI stuff. So when you can't put, the goal is to put the enemy constantly in this fear state of sorts, where you have the board dominated, you have a really strong monster, and you destroy the monster each time, so the life points are open to direct attacks, and this way, the enemy, even though he has spells on his hand that he could use to solve the board, like Raigeki, for instance, Crush Card. For instance, Kaiba here, he has Crush Card. He has it. He could use it but he will never use it if you manipulate the AI. And how we do that? By dominating the board. We have a monster on the board always, and we do not allow the enemy to have more than one monster at once. He always will be without monsters at the end of the turn. So the next turn he will be forced to set a monster. He will not use a magic because if he has no monster to defend his life points, using a spell is really dangerous, right? Because next turn as well, he's not gonna be able to protect his life points. So the AI was programmed like this. If you don't have monsters on your side of the table, set a monster to protect your HP if the enemy has a monster on the board. And this is basically what we call magic luck. It's a way to set the game, set the board, the state of the board, so that the enemy won't be able to use magics. And, well, guess what? It is also the most efficient way to win duels, right? You just set your most powerful monster on the board, kill whatever shows up, and you're fine. The enemy will never use magics. But sometimes you're unlucky. Sometimes you don't draw a twin-headed first turn. You don't have good fusions. You don't have equipments that you would otherwise need in some situations. And you have to, just accept the fact that you won't be able to dominate the board. And when this happens, it's, a dice roll. It's RNG. So the enemy might have the card on its hand and use it. He might have it and not use it. So you just pray. In these situations, you just pray. And in Ishizu's case of back then, when he got sworded, well, it was basically that. He didn't have control of the board and had to pray that she wouldn't use it, but she did use. So that was just unlucky. But now things are gonna be right things are gonna be quite tranquil because, as we said, World Tournament has ended. Kaiba is the last guy from World Tournament, and you guys got to see how the difficulty spiked, right? The enemies using some really annoying magics, some annoying spells. Suijin on the path to making a Gate Guardian. So the World Tournament is a big difficulty spike. You know, you need to know more about the game, about the fusions, and have more resources to solve it. But right now, we are in a new segment of the game. It's called Egypt 2, Egypt 2nd. And here we are back again. My friend Jono, my friend Theana, and we're gonna do Jono second, by the way, right here. So, here's the thing. Yeah, there it is, Suijin. 2, by the way. I like, oh, that's a good card for 100%, right? The Egotist, I think. It has some really out of the box fusions you can make with Elegant Egotist, if I'm not wrong. But that's a thing for the 100%. We have no business with it right now. So yeah, I have to say this, right? You can fuse magics in this game as well. You can fuse spell cards. You can fuse the spell cards as well. So there are some interactions like Umi, which is a field type magic. You can change, the field with Umi. It makes the board, become an ocean. In water type monsters, thunder type monsters will get a bonus of 500 points in both attack and defense. And there's this card called Dark Hole, which is a removal that destroys everything that is in the board. So you can fuse Umi and Dark Hole together to make I totally forgot the name of the card. What was that? What was it? It was
Eternal Draw.
Eternal Draw. Yeah, I totally forgot about the name. I just had the image of the card in my head. So yeah, you can fuse some magic cards, some trap cards. You can even fuse spell cards with monsters. If you fuse a DCJ, I believe, with some dragon, I don't recall which one right now, it becomes Dragon Zombie, or am I going crazy? But there is a DCJ is Dragon Capture Jar, by the way. So yeah, there are some really out of the box fusions in this game, and sometimes it can play tricks on us if you're not careful enough. I think there is a fusion with Crush Card. I think it's Crush Card and a water type monster that I don't recall the name now. But because sometimes you want to discard things. Here's the thing. You have to have you need to have a good knowledge of the fusions in this game, even though some fusions are useless, because in this game fusions are based on the type of the monster. Mostly. Remember this word. So if I fuse a zombie with a plant, it becomes a zombie with 1,000 points. And if I fuse a zombie that has 1,000 points of attack with a plant, it becomes a pumpkin. Right? It's based on the type of the monster and their attack points. You have this sort of chain of precedence in the fusions based on the power of the monster and the type of the monster. What are you gonna farm it? What are you looking after in the V2?
I need to do some BCDs for drop checks.
Right. So basically, he knows some good farm spots already, but there are some duels that he got A POW or S POW, and he's just not gonna leave them. Forget about no, he's gonna check. Okay, he's probably he has probably this all typed in, the duelists he already beaten, and which ranks did he beat already, so that he knows. Okay, because he found the ultimate dragon. Okay, that's great, but he could be missing a Gate Guardian. He could be missing MBD, and try to find these farm spots as well. It's nice, because remember, you can only have 3 cards each. So even though he knows where the ultimate is, if he restrains himself to having only 3 ultimates, he can just get unlucky. He can just, in 40 cards, he can never draw these 3 ultimate dragons. So yeah, it's important that he tries to find some other farm spots, so he can farm some other powerful cards. The more powerful cards he has, the more is the chance that he draws a winning hand first round. So back to what I was explaining earlier. You can make fusions based on the type of the cards. If they are zombie, if they are dragon fuses with plant, dragon fuses with water, dragon fuses with warrior. By the way, anyway, dragon fuses with a lot of things. But in this game, there are also specific fusions. They are not as common, but they exist, and sometimes you can. What the hell, man? Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon on the BCD of Villager 2. Okay, that's nice.
Let's go. 2 belts, man.
Yeah, two blue eyes are great, but as I was saying, just that's gonna be good. But you want more cards, right? You need more cards as well. 2 blue eyes are good if you draw them, but if you don't draw them, it can be tough sometimes. Marathon luck, basically, marathon luck. So there exists some specific fusions, and sometimes if you are not careful enough, when you are cycling through your hand, when I say cycling is throwing things off, dropping cards, lifting cards that do not fuse together, just to get rid of them and have more drawing power next turn. Because if I have not been clear in the beginning, if anyone that's not familiar with this version of the Yu-Gi-Oh, you draw the amount of cards that you used the turn before. So if you used all 5 cards, you're gonna draw 5 new cards. There it is, the Blue Eyes Ultimate. If you use just 1 card, you're just gonna draw 1 card. So there are some situations where you have to discard stuff. You need to discard your cards so that you draw things that you want to draw, like equipments, spells, monsters that are stronger and such. There it is, the Blue Eyes, like once again. And when you're not thinking and you're just lifting up cards to discard them, sometimes you're lifting cards that have a special interaction. Some cards that can be fused together, not necessarily by the type they have, but because they are specific cards that fuse together. So, for instance, if you have a Spike Seedra and fuse it with any spellcaster, but it has to be a Spike Seedra. If you fuse it with any spellcaster, it becomes a Kaminari attack. If you have a Jaw type of monster, I use the word type, but there isn't really a defined Jaw type in this game. When you see the cards on the inventory, you can see they have types, right? Beast, Warrior, and such. But there are some cards that have secret types, and Jaw is one of those secret types. I don't know what the guys at Konami had in mind at the time, but anyways, if you fuse a Jaw-typed card with a Mercury spellcaster, not necessarily spellcaster, it can be just Mercury, but there are some restrictions. If you fuse a Jaw-typed monster with a Mercury, usually spellcaster, it becomes a Ushioni. It becomes a Ushioni. So there are really some situations that if you're not careful enough during your fusions, your fusion chain or your discard chain, you're just gonna make some fusions, and sometimes that's gonna disrupt whatever you had in mind initially and throw you off, make you waste some really powerful cards you wanted to use, such. By the way, as someone mentioned the summon skull earlier, there is a way there are actually two ways to fuse a summon skull. You can use the job changing mirror with any fiend whatsoever, and it becomes a summon skull. The job changing mirror is a card that can be obtained in the free duel with the dual master K. If you get the rank A or S, it has a chance to drop in normal game. And job changing mirror with any fiend becomes a summon skull. And there's also another creative way. There is a monster called Embryonic Beast. It is a fiend. It can be on the starter deck. You can drop it as well during the early segments of the game. And there is a card that is, you guys, I bet you guys are familiar with this card. Jono likes to use it a lot because he's better at the game. Oh, a Zoa, that's a really good drop. Itgaboon is a meme card that some runners like to I don't know, how do I say this? They like the Itgaboon. I wouldn't say they put it in a pedestal, but it can be good in some situations. During the Brazilian tournament, the guy that is before you right now, that is playing this game right now, during the finals, he used a Itgaboon, which is a trap, by the way. It's a trap that destroys monsters, I think below 500. Am I right? Or it's 1,000, right?
1,000, yeah. House Alpha Adhesive Tape is 500. Yeah.
500. So yeah, Itgaboon, it destroys monsters that are under 1,000 attack points when they attack. It's a really tough condition to trigger, right? So, during the finals of the Brazilian tournament, our guy here, Neczin, he used the Itgaboon during the early segments of the game to perform an attack on Shadi. And Shadi, he can drop Raigeki in the attack. And the Mad Lad got it. He dropped a Raigeki during the finals of the Brazilian tournament. Which is a meme strat, by the way, doing attack on Shadi.
Shoutouts for Tug about this.
Yeah, Tug KJJ was the unlucky recipient of the humiliating meme attack on Shadi. But it's all good. It's all good. And yeah, this game has really some really interesting things. But by the way, back to what I was saying. There's another way to fuse the summon skull. The summon skull can be made with an embryonic beast, plus a really famous card that Jono loves to use it. It's the the Time Magician. So if you fuse the Time Magician with an embryonic beast, the idea is that the Time Magician made the embryonic beast, evolve. Time has passed. The embryonic beast became a summon skull. It's the same principle as with the Time Magician and any dragon. It becomes the 1,000 dragon. The time passed. The dragon that was a baby dragon became a really old, grumpy 1,000 dragon. Is it 1,000 dragon the name itself? Or, I think it's 1,000, right? Anyways, so we are in the third part of the game, I would say, which is the Egypt second, the second part of Egypt. We were in the future, in future time, modern time, with Seto Kaiba using a really fancy suit and such. And now we are back to the past. We did our main quest of retrieving the the Millennium cards, which were cards that represented the Millennium relics, and because of that, our soul was able to traverse back from the present to the past once again, and the Pharaoh is back, and he wants revenge. Basically, in the meantime, the mages that had usurped the power, they settled in the temples, and they were ruling everything. And now that the Pharaoh is back, he goes into a journey to defeat all of the priests, so that he can, gather the Millennium relics. So, but why is that so? So that he can challenge Haishin, which is the guy that made him go to the future, so that he can restore the powers, restore Egypt to what it once was. So we are in the second part. We are dueling with the mages, and those guys, they are also a sharp turn in difficulty. Right now, we are facing one of the middle ground mages, I would say. Another Hungry Burger. That's nice for the showing. Hungry Burger did bring luck to this run, I would say. Definitely. And the mountain mages, the mountain mage and the mountain high priest, which its name is Atenza. They are quite okay to deal because the mountain field usually gives benefits to the THDD, but Atenza can be really troublesome because he can use the Black Skull Dragon, and the Black Skull Dragon with the mountain field makes him go 3,700 attack points, and a twin-headed Thunder Dragon is not enough to defeat. But then again, just half of the cards. There it goes, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is Sun, and Sun is really good against what? Moon. Yeah, that is. So there's a simple, there are two cycles of rock, paper, scissors in this game. The simplest one is the one that the Moon, Sun, and Mercury and Venus are in, which it is Sun has advantage against Moon, Moon has advantage against Venus, Venus has advantage against Mercury, and Mercury ultimately defeats Sun. So knowing these things, knowing those informations are really useful because it can create situations where you didn't have a winning hand, but by consequence of the Star Guardians on the board, on the monsters, you can turn it around. In this case, it wasn't really the case because the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is really strong. But let's say he had a normal Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is 3,000 attack points. In that situation, the baby Blue Eyes, which is how we call him, it's just a way to simplify things. We call it baby Blue Eyes in comparison to the Ultimate. That's the idea. The baby Blue Eyes in that situation would be nice because, okay, it has 3,000 attack points, but because of Mountain, it gets 500, and because it's a Sun, it would get another 500. So it would be able to beat the Black Skull Dragon. Blue Eyes Busted Dragon. Yeah, it's oh man, Dark Energy is a really good equipment. Especially because Skull Knight and Zoa are in the deck. So I think for the randomizer, one of the major things a runner that likes to do these randomized runs is the knowledge about equipments and powerful monsters. I think this is the most important skill, I would say. In the normal run, a good runner needs to know more about the THDD and which equipments go into the THDD and how to perform a quick attack. Those are the things a runner for the 15 card or the vanilla need to know. But when you're running randomizer, I think you need to have a more general knowledge of the game. You need to know more. You need to know more things. Like, okay, this card that I dropped, I have never seen it in my life, but it has those two specific Star Guardians that are really good. The attack damage is good enough that with one equip I can beat a Skull Knight, with one equip I can beat a Blue Eyes Baby. So it's more about this general knowledge. Like, okay, Zera the Ment is a card that I can use in these situations. Skull Knight, Zola, Firewing Pegasus. There are lots of cards that are not really that strong by itself, but in the right configuration, the right setting, it can be used in a randomized runner. I think the randomized runner needs to have a more broad strokes knowledge about the game and those not so common cards that can appear because it's randomized. In the normal run, you wouldn't see them so much, but in the randomizer, it has a shot at going into your deck. So basically, there's this thing. I think a bunch of people don't know about this. A lot of people have trouble doing the quote unquote 100% of the game, like unlocking all duelists, because some people never got to know this, but this game has two routes. Yeah, who would have thought? This game has two routes. And these routes are based on a really simple thing, but it's a really simple thing that you can miss. So basically, if you play it normally and go on your journey and beat all the high mages, you're going to the finals, what we call the final 7 rounds, and more on that later. But if before finishing all the mages, the mages for reference represent the types of fields that exist in the game. So mountain, ocean, forest, desert, meadow. I don't know. I guess and darkness, basically, which is the final part of the game. The dark field, which is I forgot the name of the card. Damn. But anyways, that's not important. Yummy. I just remembered it now. Okay. So when you go on your way and beat all the mages, you go to the final 7 round. But if during the middle of this, beating of the mages, I have defeated 3 mages, I don't know, 2 mages. It's 2 actually. If you defeat 2 mages and go to the dueling grounds, and because I don't know, you wanted to duel someone, you go to the dueling grounds because you want to talk to your friend Jono once again. You actually discover that Seto has kidnapped Tana, and you need to solve this issue ASAP. So that's what Neczin just did in the duels before. And that's the condition to unlock the final 6th round, so to say. And basically, you go and try. You go to you decide. Okay, right. I need to rescue Tiana, and to do that, you face the Lab Mage, and you face Seto Second. So this Seto Second is a duel that if you don't go for the final 6 round, it's a duel you can't do later on in the game. So a lot of people, when they play this game and they beat this game, they would go to free duel and oh no, that's terrible, that's bad. They would go into free duel and notice that there was a slot missing, to complete all the list of the duelists in free duel. And the duelist that I was missing was Seto second, because it's a really tiny thing that you can miss, not going for the final 6 round. You need to defeat 2 mages and go to the dueling grounds, and then you have to face the Lava Mage, which is a strong enemy, by the way. He can set Gate Guardian, and Seto second, which is also a very powerful opponent. He can set Gate Guardian, Blackluster Soldier, and so on. So basically, right now in the game, Nek is facing the Metal Mage, and this is a really important duel during the non-randomized version of the run, because we attempt to get the SA rank, because as I said before, the Metal Mage in the non-randomized version, okay, red eyes, that's not half bad. Sky Dragon, quite rare, I think. So as I was saying, in the non-randomized version of the run of the game, the Metal Mage has a chance to drop Meteor Black Dragon. But to drop a Meteor Black Dragon, you need to defeat him with the SA rank. And basically, Neczin was about to face a really powerful duelist. Kepura is really annoying, and we have a situation here. Oh no, we don't have. Sorry. I forgot. It's so unusual to have a blue eyes, but okay. Basically, the blue eyes is Sun, as I said previously, and the Gate Guardian, he is Moon. So even though the Gate Guardian had 1,000 points plus in attack because of the field and the Dark Sword that he equipped, it wasn't enough. He had a 250 advantage, but considering the Star Guardian. The Star Guardian, he was losing. So yeah. And this is one of the toughest duels in the game, by the way, as you guys could see, but maybe not grasp, because the Blue Eyes ultimate is really powerful. But Kepura, he has Gate Guardian. Gate Guardian is a really strong card, 3,750 attack points. And it's buffed by the field. So it goes to 4k. It goes plus 4k attack points. So it is really hard to deal. You need usually removal, or you need Megamorph plus equipment, or a way to remove the field, like using Mountain, using Umi, so that the Gate Guardian loses the field advantage. And that's it. If Kepura starts with the Gate Guardian, you're pretty much in hot water. So yeah, here is another tricky shrine, but this duel is okay. This duel is easy. This duel, you just need a TH3, you can solve everything with it. Why is White Dragon even lift, bro? Too powerful. He does that lifting with each of its head every morning to have this 4,500 attack points. Really powerful. So yeah, the Red Eyes is a good addition to the deck. The Red Eyes is normally a drop from Jodo second, and you can use the Red Eyes. Normally, I am saying that it's possible, but not always. You need to do the SA rank on Jono second, and you can have, if you're lucky, you get the Red Eyes, but it's not really that good amount. The odds aren't really favorable, but some people like to do it because the aforementioned Eternal Drought. You can fuse this card with Umi and Dark Hole. There is another way to fuse it as well, but I don't recall. Blue Eyes Way Dragon. That makes a lot of sense. To be fair. So, Anubisius, which is the High Mage of the Forest. By the way, the shrines work like this. Each shrine has a normal mage and a high mage, a high priest. And this is not the greatest of hands. You know, the Anubisius is really tough because he can, when he starts in hard mode, which is something I have to explain. I think I didn't explain to you guys. But in this game, the enemies, they have a chance to, you know, start with the strongest card. They have a percentage. We have this map down, by the way. The odds of the enemy using their witch cards in the first turn, and then there's this concept we call easy mode and hard mode during the duel. Okay, unfortunately, it didn't work out. Unfortunately, even though Neczin has 2 ultimate dragons, he's going to fall to Anubisius, which is really a shame. He got past Kepura so easily, and Kepura is really nastier than Anubisius. But I'll explain what happened, basically. There's this thing called easy mode and hard mode, which is based on the starting card the enemy has set. And when there's the strongest card the enemy can use, in the case of Anubisius, is the perfectly ultimate Great Moth. In the case of Kepura, is you didn't save after Kepura. Okay, that's an even stronger blow, by the way. So the enemies can set their strongest cards in the first turn, and when that happens, we refer to this event as the hard mode, because it's the toughest situation that could happen, and you need to think how you can solve the situation. You will probably need more resources. You need to, you know, really cycle your deck most of the time because you didn't draw something good earlier, and then we started hard. But there is also the concept of easy mode, which is when the enemy starts in the first duel with a really uncommon, usually not really that strong of a card. So, just to illustrate the concept, alright? I'm gonna use a duel that is gonna happen further ahead in the end of the game, because it's something that happened in the Brazilian tournament. Here's the thing. During the first match of the Brazilian tournament, story time, guys, story time. During the first match of the Brazilian tournament, the opening of the tournament, the opener, one of the, I think it was Kanitz that was running. I don't recall against who, but Kanitz was facing the Seto third during the final stages of the game, and Seto third is a really infamous,
the hardest.
He's one of the hardest. Yeah, it's really infamous because he has a really high rate of setting the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So that's the hard mode. It's Seto third using the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. But in the Brazilian tournament, in the first match, the opener of the season, Kanitz was on Seto third, and the first monster, nice, Metal Zoa, and another Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. That's really nice. That makes the count go to 4, but he can only use 3 cards, by the way. Recall that. Remember that. So Kanitz was facing Seto third on the first stage of the tournament, and everybody was expecting, you know, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, because it's 57% the chance of, you know, it being set by Seto Kaiba during the final part of the game. And Seto started with a Dark Magician. It's a really rare situation. We have, so just so you guys can understand the idea. The easy mode sometimes is not really, doesn't depend on some really rare occurrences. It's more based on the attack points of the monster that the enemy has set. So basically, I don't know, Haishin setting a Kaiser Dragon as a first card would be an easy mode for the Haishin, for instance. Or Sengen Jin, I don't know. These are some of the instances of easy mode. But in the case of Seto Third, and in this case that happened in the Brazilian tournament, it's like really rare. I don't have the stat sheet with me right now. I'll try to look up for it, but it's basically something that could happen after, I don't know, 500 duels, 1,000 duels. Because remember that I said that the community has already broken down this game, reverse engineered it all and such. So basically we have a stat sheet for each duel with the percentages of how, what are the odds? What are the odds? How likely is it to set a third start with a Blue Eyes Ultimate? And we have that. How likely it is for a set of third start with, I don't know, Cosmo Quinn. I don't recall if he has this card, but there's a probability attached to it, and it's really low, really low. And the Dark Magician is one of these cases. It's not one of the really impossible, but it's really impressive and shocked everyone at the tournament. It's not really a common thing to happen. Musician King, that's a quite different card. It's just a guy rocking on, right? But you can fuse this card, actually. You can fuse it. I did it by chance when I was doing some attempts during the beginning of the year, during January, which was when it was happening the qualifiers for the season 3 of the international tournament that was run by the Forbidden Memories SR. So, and you may ask me, Vash, how did the community get those numbers? How the community knows that the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon on Seto 3 is 57% on the first turn, and that the most likely card that Haishin second will set is a Gate Guardian, and how the Dark Knight most likely card to set on the first turn is a Meteor Black Dragon. So there were some mad lads that did a lot of simulation. You know, all these stats of the likelihood of the enemy setting a card on the first turn, a specific card, it has been done via simulation. Some lovely folks ran the game, repeated a lot of the first duels of everyone. And when I say repeated, I mean repeated a lot, so that, you know, law of large numbers can apply, you know, so that we can have an approximation of those statistics, of those probabilities. So yeah, it was a really nice work by the community. This is arguably the thing that is less reliable, but it's pretty damn reliable, because it is approximately 57% the odds of Seto Third playing a Blue Eyes Ultimate. It happens a lot of the time. It feels like it is over 50%, indeed. So yeah, some really heavy work by the community. So yeah, everything's pretty okay. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Anytime you guys see the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon on the screen, there's nothing to worry about. Things are safe. You're safe now. You can, you know, just lay down and have a breather. Take some.
Vash, what do you think if I try one Final 6 now? What do you think about this? Vash?
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking whilst muted. I think I pressed some button on my keyboard. Anyways,
No worries.
if you went for the final 6, if you went to the final 6 with the deck you have right now, you have 3 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons, and if you draw those, you win basically.
I would try
But
one attempt at
you
least.
can try one attempt. You have one removal in the form of Widespread Ruin.
Yeah. Two DCJs.
Two DCJs. That's okay. That can work. Because basically, okay, let's give you guys some taste of what is the dreadness of running Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. You guys might think, damn, my god, Neczin has a really strong deck. He has 3 Ultimate Dragons. This card is just, giga enormous. It has 4,000 blah blah blah, and there's no way he can lose, right? Well, you guys just saw what the game has to offer. He literally lost Laser Cannon Armor. It's an equipment.
It works on Metazoa.
It works on the Metazoa, indeed. And you guys just saw him lose to Anubisius, the Forest High Mage. So what he is dependent here, I think that he is dependent here on the first part. But let me explain. This is the final gauntlet of the game. This is the final segment of the game. It's the final. We call it the final 6, final 7. In this case, it's final 6 because he dueled the Labyrinth Mage earlier using the route of the Lab Mage. So he's gonna have to face 6 duelists in a row. He can save in between those duels, in between those fights. So yeah, he has to win 6 matches in a row, and that can be really tough to do based on how your deck is. As we said, this game really has a lot of variance. So even though you might have a good assortment of equipment, you did get some really good monsters on your deck. They simply couldn't show up. There's this possibility that you don't get to draw in. So you lose, and if you lose in any part of the final 6, final 7, well, tough luck. You have to do it again from the start. So this is a really important part of the run. Be it randomizer, be it 15 card, be it vanilla. Vanilla is how we call the original game, by the way, without any sort of mods. Or just one card drop. It's the vanilla. Independent of the category you're running, this is the singular most important part of the game. All you do in the game, all the farms, all the decisions on how you build your deck is for this moment. And basically, in each of these duels, he's gonna need something that is above 3,000 points in attack to be really useful. And when I say I mean above 3,000, because from here on out, all the cards are gonna be more powerful. They're gonna have 3,000 plus attack, considering the field already. So he enacted a really good way of gaining a turn, and because basically the strongest card this enemy has, the Neku, he's facing Neku. Neku has the Skull Knight, which we mentioned before, and with the Yami field, he goes to 3,550 points of attack. So what he did, he used the Suijin, which is 3,000, and he had a mountain set face down on the back row. So he used the mountain to debuff the Skull Knight and attacked with the Suijin. And because of that, this enemy, Neku, and it is programmed like that. If you use a field card to change the field, turn it into mountain, into Umi, whatsoever. If it's not Yummy, if Neku has a Yummy in the hand, he's gonna use it. So you can gain an additional turn and do face damage, which is pretty neat. It makes the duel go quite quickly. So now he drawed a really good combination of cards that is really common during races, during attempts for the 15 card, which is a twin-headed Thunder Dragon with 2 equipments. So he's facing Haishin second right now, and Haishin second, as I said before, I think his strongest card is a Gate Guardian. Gate Guardian that has 3,750. So to be sure, to be safe, he needs to draw a twin-headed Thunder Dragon plus 2 equipments or a Megamorph, which counts for 2 equipments. Megamorph, remember, is an equipment that buffs any monster 1,000 points, both in defense and attack. But here, it could be argued that Nek got a good first hand for a good. Pardon. What I meant to say is, Neczin did get a good first monster set by Haishin second. It was the Black Skull Dragon, and the Black Skull Dragon, it is a little strong, 3,200, but you only need a THDD with 1 equipment to face a Black Skull Dragon. So it could be argued it was a little bit on the easy mode side of things, but that's not truly the easy mode of Haishin second. And now...
Vash, let's go to the hardest one. And
well,
we are underestimate. My estimate is 2 hours, 20 minutes, but we are little under. But
yeah,
this duel we'll say about this.
Yeah, basically, here's the thing. This is the singular most important duel of the run. Seto third, as we said before, he has a really good chance, on the verge of 57%, of setting a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon turn 1. So, what makes this duel really complicated is this fact. So he has a twin-headed Thunder Dragon on the 3,000 average, sort of. So he got this demolished by a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. This is basically a replay of any duel with Seto third. So what happened right now? He drew a Blue Eyes Ultimate as well. That is great, but he won't be able to attack right now. So that leaves Seto open to set a trap card, which wasn't the case. Now 2. Most likely 2. It can be a baby Blue Eyes. And right now what Nek is gonna do is just I would attack. Don't be afraid. Okay. It's okay, man. If you're not going to lose because of this. Maybe you're going to lose because of this. Yeah, I mean, what I was about to say is that it's not guaranteed. He would lose anyway, despite the fact that he didn't attack. If he didn't attack, he would lose anyway, is what I meant to say. So basically, it's really troublesome, because even if if you draw a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, you're gonna... How can I say? You're gonna stall the game, but there's this likelihood that Seto third uses a Raigeki. Because, as I mentioned before, the board was not dominated by Nek. He had a Blue Eyes Ultimate, he had a build, he had a Blue Eyes Ultimate on the field, and Seto as well had one, so it's tied. To the AI, he thinks, okay, it's tied, I am not in trouble. I'm just gonna set another card, and, I'll be just fine. So, what happened is, Neczin lost the magic lock condition that we talked before, and that left him open to spells. And one of the spells that Seto can use is the Raigeki. And Raigeki is the one of the strongest removals of the game. It destroys every single monster on the enemy side. So anyone that played this during their infancy, when they were kids and such, even with a memory card, and knowing the farm spots, having 3 MBDs and such, knowing how to do attacks, it's just a really common situation. You get there, you don't draw what you need on the first turn, setup gets control of the board, you die. You maybe draw what you need after some turns, but even if that is the case, you won't have control of the board. So you are at the grace of Seto. You are, you are in a sense. You are depending on basically luck, so that he doesn't use Crush card or Raigeki. So let me talk about a little bit about strategy in regards to the speed run of this game and what resources we have to deal with this kind of situation. So having powerful monsters is really good. Not gonna lie. If you can make a monster that surpasses the Blue Eyes ultimate, you don't have much to worry about. You just draw something powerful and equip it to the brim, and it's gonna destroy everything in the field, right? But what are other options? Are there any other options available? So one of the things that is really good for the final part of the game is removal. And removal, by definition, is any card that has an effect that destroys monsters. So as you guys saw, the Raigeki over there is a removal. The Dragon Capture Jar is a removal. Dark Hole is a removal. It's not really good. It's not really practical in usage, but it is a removal nonetheless. Eternal Drought is a removal, which we mentioned before. And there's this one also that is it has a division. It created a rift in the community. It's the Warrior Elimination. Warrior Elimination is a removal that exists in this game. It can be used to destroy all monsters that are of the type Warrior.
I love this card, by the way.
Yeah, Neczin is one of the main defenders, one of the guys that are standing up for it, for the Warrior Elimination. But it's really situational usage. So basically, for the final segments of the game, it's more about how we deal with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. How can we defeat it? So we have those options. We can destroy it with a really powerful monster, which is quite hard to do. You need a lot of conditions, right? You need to make it to inherit on the dragon, or have a really powerful monster in the sorts of Meteor Black Dragon, or in the case of the randomizer, you can get you have this assortment. You have look at this. Look at the tracker. You can get a Blue Eyes Ultimate. You can get the perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, Meteor Black Dragon, Metal Zoa, Gate Guardian. So yeah, there is this list of really powerful monsters that you can get, and with some equipment, you can make a Blue Eyes Ultimate Killer. But even so, it's more than one card that you need to draw in the first turn. It's tough, right? So the other strategy to deal with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is removal. So Raigeki, which is one of the cards that can be in the deck on the initial deck, on the starter deck. On the starter deck, you are allowed always, right? Always. You will have an equipment, a field card, and a removal card. And the removal card is 50-50. It can be a Dark Hole, or it can be a Raigeki. Runners, usually on the PB attempts, they reset for the Raigeki. And so Raigeki is a really powerful card. Crush card can be obtained during the normal game with an attack on Seto Kaiba during the World Tournament, and on Seto Second as well. In the randomizer, it could show up in any place whatsoever. Okay, that's a really different way to solve the situation. He just, equipped what could equip in the school bird, so that he could accelerate the duel, so he can, deal damage directly. He's gonna lose the school bird, but that's okay. That's fine. It did its job, which is it was attacking the life points. So any removal that works against the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, you're gonna put it in the deck. You're gonna put it in the deck, so that you can solve the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And why is it good to have removal against Settle Third? Because it's one card. It's one card that you draw and you kill the Blue Eyes. And the chance of setting a second Blue Eyes Ultimate, it's not really that high. If you solve the first, usually you're gonna, be out of harm's way, so to say. Each time you defeat a monster from the enemy, it has the possibility of, repeating that monster. But usually, what happens is that the cards that he has is weaker. So, okay, I defeated the Blue Eyes Ultimate. He's most likely now going to play a Gate Guardian. Oh, I have defeated the Gate Guardian. So most likely, he's gonna go down. He's gonna lower from the Gate Guardian to a Meteor Black Dragon. And once again, here we are. And that is a good first hand, because the Invigoration, even though it's not fit for the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, he has a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in the first turn. That means that he's dying right now. But that's okay. He drew the DCJ. He's gonna use it. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon's gonna go, somewhere. We don't care where. He's gone. He's not a problem anymore. And what basically Neczin is gonna ask for the gods right now is that he doesn't draw another one, and he didn't. He drew a Gate Guardian or a Black Skull Dragon. So he's just gonna make a Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon to attack the life points. He's gonna use the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to kill the Gate Guardian. And the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon is gonna, do the rest. So yeah, this is the hardest duel in the game. And it's really difficult. As you can see, even drawing the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon turn 1, he got tired. Sato also did set a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So he did not have control of the board. He wasn't keeping the magic lock condition active. So he had a few turns, like 1 turn, 2 turns more, to solve the issue. Or else he would probably get Raigeki again, or Crush Card, which is for matters the same, for practical matters the same outcome.
Bye bye, Haishin.
Macho Man here, Randy Savage, just decided, okay, you summoned me, but you are unworthy, so I'm gonna transform you into a card and burn you. And Crush Card, that's really nice. Yeah, there are some people in the community that jokes about Dark Knight, which is the name of this antagonist. How he looks like Randy Savage, which was a wrestling performer because of the bird most likely, I think, and the figure as well, because he's huge and such. But anyone that is familiar with wrestling probably may verify the look-alikeness. So basically, Dark Knight is a duel that is easier to deal with than the Settleford duel. But some people jokingly call him hardest. because here's the thing. His strongest card is the Meteor Black Dragon, 3,500 points of attack. But he has a gimmick. That is, when he dominates the board, when Dark Knight dominates the board, his most likely action after dominating the board is setting spells, setting trap cards, and that is troublesome. That is something that is a bit worrying, because until right now, it makes the duel go longer, no doubt about it. But here's the problem. The problem is, Dark Knight has really two troublesome trap cards. One of those trap cards is Reverse Trap. Reverse Trap is a trap card that makes it so that any equipment you use, instead of buffing the monster you're using, it makes the monster get debuffed by the same value. So it's really complicated. I won't comment on how Neczin should act here. He's just gonna have to think for himself, because I am pretty bad at this game. I run this game as well, but there are some situations that you just can't really... there's no really correct course of action. So basically, Dark Knight has set 3 trap cards. How do I know that? How do I know? Vash, how do you know that he has 3 trap cards in 1 spell card that he set right now? How? Well, basically, when the enemy sets magics and in trap cards, if the card doesn't, if it keeps lit up, it's a trap card. If it, dims a little bit, it means that it is a spell. So Nek did use the Crush card, but okay, Thousand Dragon. Because of the Mars star sign, we thought Neczin probably thought it was an MBD. So what is he gonna do right now? He's gonna make a THDD and use the Bright Castle to test for the reverse trap. Let's see. And it was a reverse trap, but no biggie. I think the Twin-Headed Dragon doesn't... Oh no. Okay, this is not the end of the world, but it's gonna be a little bit troublesome as well. So, Dark Knight has 2 traps still in the field. It can be useless traps. He has useless traps. But it's a... right now, I would say, 2 in 4 chance that, it's something that is not useless. And Neczin got lucky, because he did test, he just went all in. He bet that it wasn't a widespread ruin, because the two most annoying cards that Dark Knight has is the reverse trap that we saw in action right there, and the widespread ruin, which is, as you guys probably know, the strongest trap card in the game. It destroys
the last one.
It destroys anything that attacks, no matter the power. So that was a really tough situation for Nek right there, because if it was a widespread ruin, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon would have been destroyed, and he would have lost the duel, because he would have no monsters to defend his life points, and it would be the end. And now we are at Nightmare, the final boss of the game. And the thing with Nightmare, which is basically a school version of the Dark Knight, is that he has no magics, he has no spell cards, no traps whatsoever, no equipments. So he only plays monsters. And that's really unlucky. The strongest monster that Nightmare can play is the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, but it's not as prevalent as is the case with the Seto third duel. The chance that Dark Knight has to set a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon turn 1 is around 27%. So it's way more. It's less common. It's not so frequent as is with the Seto third. And now Nek just discarded one of the spell cards so that he can draw more. And he's gonna have to pray that it isn't a Purgan or a... Okay, Blue Eyes Baby. That is good, he has one more turn. And he drew the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, the solution to all his problems. And then it is. With that, he has won the game. He has beat the game. Because here's the thing. Okay, Neczin is gonna
one animation.
do a little bit of pop-off right now.
Yeah.
He's popping off. Basically, if you guys didn't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories has 3D models because it's a PlayStation 1 game. If you start the duel, if you do the attack, better saying, if you do the attack pressing square instead of X, you enter this arena setting with this 3D animation, and there it is, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon in all its majesty. You know, it's like a father talking to his son, saying, "You are not allowed to go out on a Friday. You haven't done your chores. You scored low grades this semester. No, stay at home. Stay at home. Be humble." So yeah, with that,
my life points, man.
with that, Neczin is guaranteed to win because, as I said, Nightmare has no spell cards, that he has no trap cards, no equipments. So even if Nightmare top decks, which is, you know, the card that even if he top decks a Blue Eyes Ultimate, top decking being you know, drawing a new card, one that is not in his hand. Usually a top deck happens when the enemy draws from the left side of the screen. I advise against it, even if there is a Cosmic Queen in the setting. Oh no, you have a white spell, right? You can make this play. Actually. Oh no! Damn, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, I would have waited to bait, but that's okay. No, that would be bad. No. There was no way. But that's okay. He's low. He's on the Trihorn. That is a little bit. That's a little bit tough. Not gonna lie. That works. So what Neczin is kind of dependent right now is that Nightmare doesn't, you know, top deck something really strong. The last monster he used was a Trihorn. Oh no. Oh no.
Relax. It's okay.
It's still within the range of winning, but things are getting a little bit complicated right now. Maybe we've
oh my god,
celebrated too soon, and maybe we have celebrated.
What I need to do?
Well, you need to be lucky now. That's all you need to do at the moment. So the thing is, he was tied with the Blue Eyes.
Okay, one more, please.
This is
okay.
Okay,
GG's.
it's safe.
Okay,
it's safe.
Okay, GG's.
Things. I mean, not X. No way. Okay, it's GG now. If you drew another THD, it wasn't GG. Oh no, you had Dark Energy. So yeah, it would be GG anyways. That was a little bit tense. I mean, because the way Neczin played, he incurred some greater risks. But he tried to, you know, just be quicker. trying to attack that card that was face down. It could have
GG's.
been a baby Blue Eyes. And GG's time, yes. 1 hour, 57 minutes, 55 seconds. That's pretty good. So yeah, basically the situation was he could have played it safe because he had a widespread. He could have waited more and such, but he wanted to take the risk. He attacked the Sun card that was set face down, and the only thing that would be bad for him if it were a Blue Eyes Ultimate, which was the case. It made some really made the things a little bit finicky, but also, if you hadn't played, I think the Skull Knight on Mercury, right? Because you got pawned by the Cosmo Queen. But it was a really troublesome situation because he. Let me think. Yeah, if he set it on Neptune, there wasn't anything that you lost. Actually, Neptune I think Neptune was the correct play. But anyways.
I could play at the Skull Knight on Neptune to solve the MBD, but the cards, the enemy cards was under 3,000, so risky play.
You just thought it would make no difference. Okay, yeah. It happens. But yeah. There were two situations that could happen. In Mercury, you would beat Blue Eyes Baby with no problems, and in Neptune you could beat the MBD, but leaving it in Mercury, there was the harm, the peril of the Cosmo Queen that is Venus, but that happens. But yeah. What is important is that in the end, all things considered,
in the end doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I said by the famous poet Linkin Park, right? So yeah, that was a pretty good run. You found some really sweet spots for farming the Blue Eyes Ultimates. You actually didn't even perform a lot of farming. You did more of some checks and such. But during the campaign itself, you got some really good drops. And I mean, the Blue Eyes Ultimate, they are really great. But what helped a little bit was the Metal Zoa, the widespread being on the initial deck did some good plays.
Bright Castle initial deck too.
Bright Castle as well on the starter deck, and the THCD also as well. You dropped it to Inherit and the Dragon, the card itself, not the fusion.
Yeah.
So that's really good for when you need to cycle your deck, when you need to get some drawing power. You discard things and you get it to Inherit and the Dragon without fusion. That's really good. It works really well with the equipments. Equipments were nice as well. Dark energy around the end segment, and yeah.
That is it.
And by the way, that is when you beat the game, you are awarded with this lovely showcase of the frames, the polygons, the structure of most of the cards that the game has. It's really good, really nice. Look at it, polygons. Anyways.
And remember, this game from 1997, and the polygons is not so good, but the wall animation of the game is pretty nice. One of the best game from PS1, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the art style of the game is consistent throughout, and the 3D models, there are some that are really bad, that are really laughable, but there are some really sick stuff in between. The Blue Eyes is really nice, the Red Dragon is nice, Skull Knight is quite okay, Zera is quite okay, the Twin-Headed and the Dragon is awful, but that's just the way he is. He's just some kind of reptile thing that has two mouths. There's no way that he would look great. But yeah, the wireframes is really nice to see. It's really good to see how things are inside out.
Yeah,
the textures.
Vash, I want to show one card. Wanna call a Hungry Burger from the library. So if you
what do you mean? You want to show the Hungry Burger? Or?
Yeah. I
Okay.
want to show the Hungry Bugger. I don't know the number of the card. Do you know?
No, you're asking the wrong person. I have no motivation to performing 100%, so I have no clue about the number of the cards.
I don't remember, but I will check. Red pill. Here.
Oh yeah, in the library
Dodo?
you can check.
No.
Yeah, it's
a dodo.
this kind of duck thing that is, I don't know the name of it. Is this a platypus? I don't know, man. I'm really
Hungry
my
Burger. Here.
biology is not really that. Oh, there it is, the Hungry Bugger.
One of the best card ever made. It's literally a hamburger with Japan flag on his head.
On the top? On the top?
Yes, on the top.
Yeah, the Hungry Burger is really nice. Not gonna lie. Look at it. Look at the majestic. Look at it. It's really good. It looks great. Really majestic.
Definitely a hamburger.
With teeth, right? Because it's a monster. It has to have teeth. It has to have teeth.
Where's the sauce?
The sauce are the friends we make along the way. Don't worry. Any other card you'd like to show? The Blue Eyes Ultimate once again, maybe.
Okay. Blue Eyes Ultimate.
Because
Let me see.
It was like
Where?
the guy that carried the run. This time.
Where is? I don't know the number.
Well,
Maybe the one of the last cards.
Might be. Swing Headed was over there. Let me check.
I love this music, by the way. All the soundtrack of this game is chilling.
It's card number 380.
Okay. The 380. Okay. Here. Okay. Okay. The MVP of this run. Some cards have the poor texture, but some cards have a great texture. For example, this card. But the three-headed Thunder Dragon have the most perfect texture of this game.
Come on.
Three-headed Thunder Dragon, yeah, it's the most beautiful card.
Come on, man. Yeah, it's around.
Look at this, man. Look at this. The most beautiful card.
Yeah, this fellow right there, you know, it's having a bad day, I would say. It's not, look, it's like, I don't even know what to say. It's like a dinosaur thing, but it's not really.
Or a pig.
It looks like a lizard of some sorts. It has two mouths, and it's standing only on
A Silent Hill monster. A Silent Hill 3 monster.
It's a Silent Hill 3, okay.
Yeah. But that is Bash. Thank you for the commenters, and please shout outs and.
Well, basically, I would like to thank the invite to commentate this run. It was really out of notice, but it's okay. It's great. It's always good to help my friend over here. It's an SD Gundam version of an Eva monster. That pretty much sums it up. So I would like to thank Neczin for the invite. Thank the organization for the Retrothon. I do run Forbidden Memories, but one of my main games is Wild Guns, and I believe there is gonna be a run of Wild Guns in this event as well. So I'm gonna tune in to watch that because Wild Guns is a huge passion from my childhood. And I want to thank the people from the Brazilian community of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. How can I say this? The Brazilian community for Forbidden Memories is not really new. It has existed for a good time already, but due to the tournament last year, we had a boom. We had a huge explosion of new people showing up, me myself included. and lots of people learning the run, doing some different stuff. There's the randomizer, as I said previously. Yeah, just a head floating with a torso. Could it be a Castlevania anime? Anyways. So I want to thank the Brazilian community, the Brazilian Yu-Gi-Oh! Speedrunning community. We really had some resurgence. There was the international tournament that ended literally yesterday, and we had lots of Brazilians qualifying, showing up, going to the elimination stages. So it's no secret that that Forbidden Memories and Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself is really huge in Brazil. So it was really hype to have our guys, our friends, participating in such events. So yeah, and I don't know, any other shout out? Oh, Cretino! Shout outs to Cretino for doing the Scrambler.
Yeah.
The program that was used to randomize the stuff in this game. From my knowledge, before he made his own Scrambler, there was one, but it was really tough in some things to set some attributes and things. So shout outs to Cretino for doing a new Scrambler as well. And I think that's it from me. Do you have any shout outs to do, Nick?
Yeah, shout outs to Randomizer Brazil, our community from games Randomized. Shout outs to Speedruns Brazil, and Vivictus, my friend, Vash, my friend, and Cretino for creating this
this Scrambler, this program.
Yeah, updating the Scrambler, because the Scrambler, FM Scrambler, are already created, but he updated to.
He made some quality of life improvements.
Yeah,
it sure is more easier to make the ISOs and configure what you want, the thresholds and such. It's really good. There was some really funny, from what I've heard from Nick, some really funny randomizer haces using some really custom attributes that made the game really bonkers, like in the fusions department, where the fusions were randomized and the AI knew the fusions, so he just lifted a bunch of cards and made a blue Isotope Dragon out of nowhere.
Yes. So that is it. I really appreciated the chance to run a game here, and for the next tournament, I wanted to the next event. Sorry, I want to learn more games and bring here Castlevania Symphony of the Night randomizer races too with my friends Castelo da Vania, Leon, and Vivictus. So there it is, guys. Thank you very much, and follow my channel if you guys want to see more games. Follow Vash, and that is it. Mods, follow with the event. Thank you, and have a good Sunday, all you.